Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Last time we completed the Kishkinda Kandham, and Lord Paramashiva was telling the story of Rama to Parvati. And last moment in the Kishkinda Kandham was on top of the Mahindra mountain. Hanuman was all ready and willing to leap towards Lanka because he could see just like an eagle's eye. He was able to see afar, and Hanuman was ready. So the Sundara Kandham is all about Hanuman's escapades in Lanka, and the way he went to Lanka and the way he uh, did all his work in Lanka and came back to see Sri Rama. And Sundara is another name for Hanuman. So Sundara Kandham is basically the story of Hanuman, how he was an integral part of Ramayana. So Hanuman was ready to leap, and he told told the Vanaras around him, "Now I have my father Vayu's blessings and Lord Rama's blessings, so I will do this without any trouble. I am confident that I can go and meet Sita, Mother Sita, and convey the message of Rama. I have Rama's ring with me, and I will pass this ring to Sita Mata, and I will get the message from Sita as well. And also I will give the message of Rama to the wretched fellow Ravana." So he was all ready, and then from that Mahendra mountain, he leaped forward and jumped. And as he was flying over the sky, he had a few interruptions on the way. The first interruption was by Surasa. She is actually a celestial sent by the Devas, because the Devas had doubt that can Hanuman accomplish this task? This is an impossible task even for Devas. So can he do it? So in order to test his prowess and resolve, what Devas did was they assigned Surasa and asked her to give an obstacle to Hanuman. So she came in between and said, I'm not going to allow you to pass through this way, because I have a special boon from the Lord that I can eat anyone that passes by this area. So I can catch hold of you, and then I'm going to eat you. So Hanuman said, no, Devi, I have a special mission to do this. Mission today. So when I come back, I will make myself available for you as your food. And Surasa said, no, this is my dharma, because anybody that passes through the sky, I should be able to eat, and that's my right. Then Hanuman obliged, and then Hanuman said, okay, then open your mouth. I'm going to enter into your mouth. So as Surasa opened her mouth 1 yojana, Hanuman became 5 yojana. Surasa made her mouth even bigger, and Hanuman grew bigger as well. And as they did this game of increasing their sizes, Surasa, her mouth, and Hanuman, his size, his body size, Hanuman thought there is no point in continuing this game. So what he did was immediately shrunk himself to a very tiny creature, went into Surasa's mouth, and came back as fast as he could, and he continued his journey. That means, in a theoretical sense, he became food for Surasa, but at the same time, he escaped and continued his work, that is, passing or flying over to Lanka. And another obstacle he found was a mountain, Mainaka. A mountain rose up in his way in the sea, and then the Mainaka mountain asked him, okay, take rest here, and then you can eat and take rest here before you travel, because you have a lot of flying to do. So why don't you stay, and you can take rest and maybe perhaps take a nap here. But Hanuman said, no, I don't have time for any of those. I'm with a mission and I'm flying all the way. So he continued, And another obstacle that came in his way was Chaya Grahini. And she's an interesting demoness, and she has a particular ability to catch hold of anyone that pass by, and she catches hold of the shadow of the person, and then as soon as the shadow is caught up by her, that person dies, and then she can eat that creature up. But Hanuman looked at her, and then he knew what she was up to, and he kicked her once and then redeemed her of all her sins, and then she became a celestial, and then she went up the sky. Hanuman moved and reached the gate tower of Lanka. He landed there, and Ravana's Lanka was very large, well planned, beautiful town, beautiful city. It was situated in an island and in the middle of the southern sea. And there was fruiting trees and fully blossomed plants and creepers everywhere, varieties of birds and animals, and that it was a place like a paradise. And Lanka was just not another city. The opulence and the prosperous nature of the kingdom was evident from the buildings and the gardens and the common facilities they had. So he walked around that area, and he meditated upon Lord Narayana for a moment, and he thought, in that monkey, in that size of the monkey he was in, he could not get into the tower of inside Lanka. So he became again a tiny creature, and then he passed through the different forts they have around the city. So there were different forts, and then there was a major security guard. Lanka Lakshmi was there, and Lanka Lakshmi was the guardian of the city. And Hanuman could not escape from the gaze of this Lanka Lakshmi. And Lanka Lakshmi confronted him, and then asked where he is coming from, and why are you coming like a thief entering into a palace? I will not let you in. But Hanuman told her about Rama and the story of Rama, and then what happened, and eventually the Lanka Lakshmi let him in. And then he continued his walk around the city through the different gardens, different small forests, and different lakes, and all those areas he covered. And finally he met with Sita Devi. And Sita Devi was sitting under a tree called the Simsaba tree in a garden that was protected by several demonesses. And several demonesses were around her, and then she was emaciated. She was always chanting the name of Rama, and she was obviously distressed and worried what will happen to her, because of any time Ravana can come and attack or take advantage of the situation. So she was shivering. For Sita, suddenly her left side started trembling, and she knew something is going to happen. So Hanuman went and saw Sita under the tree, and she was in a very, very pitiable condition. She had dirty clothes and unkempt hair, and her body emaciated and with a ceaseless grief. And she was lying down on the bare ground, always thinking about her Lord Rama. And then she was chanting. And Hanuman looked at her from behind the branch of a large tree, and he was excited to see Sita Mata, the queen of Lord Rama. And as he was observing, he saw Ravana coming to cajole Sita to talk to her, and also to allow her to become, or asking her to become his wife. And he tried his best. and he was actually telling, what is the use of this Rama fellow? He is after all only a human being. Look at my ability, and also my city of Lanka, my palace, and you cannot compare this palace to even your Ayodhya. And what to talk about the abode you have in the forest. So if the time of uh, if you come to me, you will be the queen, not only just Lanka, you will be the queen of the three worlds. So Ravana started telling her, uh, you know there is no point in you continuing to wait for Rama, because Rama has no interest in anything, and in the physical things he has no interest. And I know that he has no interest and no discrimination between the queen and the servant maid, or the animals and the birds. He has no discrimination against anyone. He treats everyone equally. And then, so you will not have any special consideration under Rama. So he has no pride and no discrimination. And whether a person is a Brahmana, or if a person eats dog, and if he's of that culture, he doesn't have any special consideration for anyone. So for him, a royal woman and a tribal are the same. So I'm here to treat you well and treat you right. That's what you deserve. And you're not a servant maid. You are a queen. So, but he doesn't have any discrimination between the Deva, Asura, human, or anyone. So be my wife, and then make yourself happy throughout your life. But Sita plucked a blade of grass from the ground, and said, and threw it with contempt, and then said, my Lord will come and kill you. My Lord will rescue me for sure, and then wait for the time that happens. And Ravana obviously was disappointed, and but Ravana had a curse himself, so he could not approach Sita without her permission. So Rama did not try to touch her, but at the same time he was disappointed, because he was trying to get the permission from Sita to be his wife. Anyway, he left, and as Ravana left, the Hanuman, the monkey, started singing the praise of Rama from the branch of a tree. He said the whole story of Rama in a short while. He started talking about Dasarada, the Ayodhya, the coronation, the obstacle of coronation of Rama, and what happened in the forest, and the pact between Sugriva and Rama, and how he killed Bali, and all those stories, everything. And then at that time, Sita Devi was, who is talking this very lovely story to me? Is it a ploy by some Rakshasas? Are they trying to tease me by telling the story? What is happening? So as she was thinking, dwelling in such a disappointing thought, she stood up for a while, and actually she, that was a very, very photographic moment. Actually, she stood up, and then held a branch of a tree, and then wept and whining about her misfortune. So Hanuman was observing this as he was telling the story, and then he approached her, and he said, I was searching for you, Devi, everywhere in the city, and with my father's blessings, I could go from place to place. That is, the father is Lord Vayu. It was my great fortune that I spotted this Simsiva tree and you, and it is my great fortune that I got this opportunity to meet with you, and please accept my respect and obeisance. And still, Sita was not convinced. Am I hallucinating, or is it true? But finally, Maruti, the Hanuman came down from the tree and then told her, I seek refuge with you, Lord Mother Sita. And then Sita said, yeah, even in your words, the words are so sweet and also with clarity and kindness. Not many people are this eloquent in their communication. And if you remember, the same thing was said about Hanuman when they first met when Hanuman and Rama and Lakshmana met Hanuman. He also said, this guy must be very erudite scholar because his words are so clear and he has no mistake in the grammar. The same thing Sita is saying, telling here, such clarity and kindness. Who can say this story of Rama? So tell me, why did you say you love me greatly? So he said, oh Devi, with an adorable face, whatever I said isn't true because I said it in the name of Lord Rama. As per Rama's instructions, I know you are not the real Sita, Mata. And as per Rama's instruction, you became Maya Sita and Yogamaya Sita. I know you are Maya Sita, stayed back in the ashram, but Yogamaya Sita has stayed behind the fire. So I know the philosophy behind your appearance, but now I'm here to convey a message. And I know the story of Maya Sita getting attracted by the golden deer, and I know all these stories. And when I met Lord Rama and Lakshmana, I was the one who took them on my shoulders and then went to Sugriva and had the pact. So he was narrating all the stories until then, and then Sita Devi was pleased with the joy, and he said, Hanuman said, I have the ring that Lord Rama had given me. So I'm going to present to you that. And also there was a secret word Rama told me to convey to you. And Sita was pleased and wept tears of joy. And she touched the ring, Rama's ring, with great reverence. And she said, oh dear Vanara, you are the best among Vanaras. And you are indeed a savior of my life. And you can do me a favor and you can pass this message that you have met with me in under the Simshiva tree, and then convey this message to Rama. And please tell him to kill Ravana and then rescue me. And hearing this, Sita Devi asked him, how will they cross the ocean of, this is a huge ocean. What will be their plan? Then Hanuman said, don't worry about it. We have all these, everything will be arranged by the huge army of Vanaras. And still Sita Devi had a little doubt, saying that how can these small Vanaras do this, accomplish this difficult task? So Sita asked, how are you going to do this? Then Hanuman said, just like me, there are several thousands and crores, lakhs of Vanaras. And don't be worried about the size of us, because we can change our size by the second. So he grew in gigantic proportions and then showed her what his capability is by the size of his body, and said there are several thousands of warriors similar in size who will be there to help Rama cross the ocean, come here and fight with Ravana and kill him and rescue you. And pleased with his words, Sita Devi gave him the Chudaratna, from her hair, the special ornament that she wore on her hair, and gave it to him. Then Hanuman goes back, and then he said, I have met Sita. That is one of my goals of coming here. Now I need to see the king of Lanka, and it is very hard to get an audience with the king of Lanka for an ordinary monkey. So he started creating havoc in all over Lanka. He distracted so many gardens and buildings and all the facilities inside the city of Lanka, even killing several security guards and several Rakshasas who were actually taking care of these facilities. So he kept on doing that, and then at one stage, Ravana came to know about it. A strange monkey is creating havoc there. So he could not bear that, and then he sent his own son Achakumara to fight with monkey, with Hanuman. And Hanuman was able to kill Akshakumara without much fight, and Ravana was distressed. As Ravana was distressed, his elder son Indrajit got into the scene, and he said, "Father, I will go and fight with this monkey, and then bring him alive." And he went on to fight with Hanuman, and there was a huge fight that ensued. And at the end, Indrajit was able to use his Brahmastra. That is a special arrow given by Lord Brahma. And Hanuman had great reverence for Brahma, and he actually agreed, basically. Otherwise, he could have escaped. But at the same time, he accepted the defeat of Brahmastra, and then he fell unconscious for a while. At that time, the Rakshasas tied him up, and then they took him to the palace of Ravana. And Ravana, as they took Hanuman to Ravana's palace, he sat him down, and then he asked, what his story is, why is he here, and why is he making all this havoc in the city. So the first response Ravana had was, maybe we should kill this wretched fellow, because he has came into the city in the middle of the night as a thief, and then now we have to take care of him by killing him, perhaps. But Prahasta, one of the ministers of Ravana, said, "No, we should not be doing that," and also assured Hanuman, this court of Ravana is as good as the court of Lord Brahma. So don't worry, just tell everything what you have to say as a messenger. Then Hanuman said, "I'm the messenger from Lord Rama." And then he explained everything, all the stories about what happened, and also he ridiculed Ravana, saying that, as a common thief, you abducted Sita, and that is not becoming of a great king. And Rama is going to come and kill you. That is the fate that is waiting for you. And because of that, you have either you can go back to Rama and then apologize and then give back Sita. Then Rama will take care of you, because Sri Rama has no animosity or discrimination with anyone. So he will even protect you. But if you are going to continue like this, he will come and kill you. But Ravana was furious, and Ravana said, "Okay." He took his special sword, and he wanted to kill Hanuman. Then immediately Vibhishana said, "It is not dharmic to kill a messenger, because messenger has something to say. So let us hear him out." And we heard what he had to say. And now, instead of killing, put a mark, indelible mark on his body, and then send him back. Hearing that, some of the ministers said, for a monkey, the tail is the most important identity for them. It's not the face or their hands or legs. It is the tail, and that's how they communicate between each other. And if the tail is curtailed, the other vanaras or other monkeys will not take him back into their commune. So what they decided was, they started draping Hanuman's tail with the cotton, and the cotton was drenched in ghee and oil, and they decided to set fire to his tail. And so they did. And as soon as they set fire to his tail, he jumped out of the place where he was sitting, and then he started burning everything what he could see, and jump from place to place, that is including the gardens, the buildings, and even the weapon storage, and all places he was able to jump to various places, one place to the other, and then the whole city of Lanka was ablaze. And that was completely unexpected of this. And uh, because of the blessings from Rama and Lord Vayu, he did not touch the area where Mother Sita was sitting. The Simsaba tree and the garden around the tree was saved. And after burning Lanka like this, Hanuman came back to Sita, and then told her, I'm a monkey, so I have this, I can't sit quiet. I'm fickle minded, so I did a bit of mischievous thing here, and that's how I did burn few trees and few buildings here. And at that time, he said, I'll go back and then tell Rama about your whereabouts, and he will come and rescue you. But Sita was distressed, and then, yeah, your words consoled me, but tell me, how am I supposed to leave here until he comes, and without hearing any news from you? At that time, Hanuman thought, maybe I should carry Sita Mata on my shoulder and take her back to Rama. And he offered that, and at that time she said, no, that is not good, because for my husband's fame and name, that won't be suitable, because I'm a queen and he's the king, and a king should come and rescue his queen. That should be done in order for his fame and name. So Hanuman left Sita Devi after prostrating her feet, and with her blessing, he flew back to the mainland without any difficulty. So Hanuman returned, and all the monkeys were waiting in the forest, and then they saw up in the sky from a distance. They saw Hanuman was flying back, and the moment they saw, they knew that Hanuman must have completed his mission, and they started celebrating right away. So as soon as he landed, he declared, yes, I met Sita Devi, and I got her blessings, and then I'm here. So suddenly they were jumping up and down, and also they were excited. And on the way, suddenly Angada, Bali's son, said, okay, let's go and tell Sugriva and Lord Rama about Hanuman's mission. And on the way, they saw a big garden with full of fruits and very nice water, and they started. They waited for a second for Angada to allow them to partake, eat this fruit and drink water. So Angada said, "Okay, this is Sugriva's garden, but you can eat here." But there was a security guard in that garden, said, Sugriva asked me to protect this garden, so you're not allowed to eat here. But they didn't hear him. The Angada said, okay, go ahead and eat. But the guy, the security guard, Dadimuka, went to Sugriva and said, the whole army of monkey, they are actually eating from your garden, and they are destroying it because they are coming in large numbers. I could not stand against them. At that time, Sugriva knew, yes, the mission has been accomplished. And they went to Rama. By the time Hanuman also came, Hanuman came and prostrated in front of Rama, and gave him the great news that he was able to meet with Mother Sita. And the whole story, she asked me who I am, and I told her everything. And she was convinced that I am indeed your messenger. And we exchanged the evidence for that, the ring and the Chudaratna, all those incidents were explained in detail, and also he conceded that I also burned Lanka. And I'm a fickle-minded monkey. I have to do what I do. As my dharma, I have to do some mischievous activity, and so that's what I did. And Rama said, "Yeah, that is quite okay." And Rama consoled him and then blessed him. And you have achieved the impossible, my dear Hanuman. You have achieved the impossible. I will gift you everything what you want. And and come to think of it, nothing can compensate you. So come here, give me a hug. And Rama hugged Hanuman. And what more can one expect? The Lord of the universe hugging the Jivatma, the Paramatma is hugging Jivatma. So Lord Parameswara completed the story of Sundara Kandham, and all devotees enjoyed the story of Sundara Kandham because it is very Sundaram. Sundaram means beautiful, and also it's about Sundara. Sundara is Hanuman. Yatra yatra Raghunada Kirtanam tatra tatra Kritamastakāñjalim Bashpavari Paripurna Lochanam Marutim Namada Rakshasandagam. Jai Sri Sita Ramachandra Ji ki Jai. Jai Sri Anjaneya Swami Ji ki Jai. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.